Hello and welcome to this lab on viruses. First thing I want to start with is just a warning. Please remember that when you're working with viruses, there's a very good chance that you will get infected. So please do not do this on a production network, and always use a virtual machine or a totally isolated machine when doing this sort of work, because there's a real chance that you could cause a major infection or a major outbreak, and you would not be very popular for that. Great, let's get started with some resources. First thing I want to talk about is the zoo. Okay, so what this very kind individual, his name is Yuval Natif, has done is he's created the zoo on GitHub, and this is the link at the top, github.com/YTISF, and then the zoo, which is a repository of live malware. So what this guy's done is obviously got a lot of honeypots out there, and he collects malware samples so that you don't have to. And if you want, you can just go to malware and binaries, and then here's a whole list of malware samples that he's collected over time. So as you can see, there's quite a long list. And it helps when doing some malware analysis or practicing your malware analysis. So let's just quickly see. Let's just download this equation group Fanny and see what it does. Okay, so there's the MD5, there's the SHA-256 hash, so that you can use that for malware detection. But I actually want to download the actual sample itself, so let me just do that quick. Just going to save it quick. I saved it before, but I'm going to save it again. Great, so it's downloaded. So if I go to my downloads folder, and then I want to extract this malware sample, so I say extract all. I'm just going to extract it into this folder itself, and it needs a password. And we just go back to the site and click on this one, which is the .pas file, and we see the password is infected. So let's just go back to this over here and just type in the password, and it pretty much then extracts the file to our file system on our local machine. Great, but as you can see, Windows Defender is protecting me. So we can see this is very live malware, and as I said before, we need to be very careful. So let's just quickly go to Windows Defender. Let's go to history and see if it actually found anything. And there you can see all the different things. So there it is there, equation group download. So you can see it was quarantined at 6:16, and you can see I was playing with some other viruses before I started the video. Okay, great. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is let's just disable our anti-malware, which is something you'll need to do if you're going to be doing malware samples, and that's why I said you need to be very careful. So just go to real-time protection on Windows 10. It will be different on different versions of Windows, but that's pretty much what you want to do. As soon as you do that, you'll see everything will turn red and warn you that you are now very vulnerable. Okay, great. So let's just try and do that again. Let's go to downloads, and we're going to delete that file, or that folder rather, and let's try and extract it again. And as you can see, there is the malware sample running. Okay, so this is just a sample. So what you'd want to do is pretty much put this into a reverse engineering tool like IDA Pro or OllyDBG, where you can actually look at how the malware actually is written by reverse engineering it into machine language. Now that's a little bit outside the scope of this video, but that's pretty much how you do it. But I want to use this malware sample to show you another tool on the internet, and that's VirusTotal. So if we go back to the internet, and VirusTotal is here. So what you want to do is, if you find a sample somewhere and you're not sure if it's malware or not, this is a great resource, and as you can see, it's sponsored and put on the internet by Google. And all you do is you literally just upload your sample. So this is a known sample. So if I just open that, as you can see, it's in there, and then I just ask VirusTotal to scan it. You can see it's already been scanned. It was actually first seen in 2012. and the detection ratio is 55 out of 57. Well, what does that mean? Let's go look at the last analysis. So what VirusTotal does, it uses 57 different scanning engines from all the major anti-malware companies. So as you can see, a lot of the anti-malware have signatures for this, and they've got every malware anti-malware agency's got a different name for it. But as you can see, it's very well known, and it's pretty much very, very detectable as malware. So that is VirusTotal. You can also go into the file detail, and that can tell you exactly how it works, and then you can pretty much go look at all the different information there is about this malware sample and all the research that's been done on it. If you want to know more, you can always go to each of these websites. So you can, for example, and then just go look for that in the virus encyclopedia, which will tell you exactly what it does. Alright, so that is malware samples and how we download them and reverse engineer them. Later on in this course, there's a module on honeypots, and honeypots are generally machines that you put out onto the internet, which then are very vulnerable and collect all these malware samples in a safe manner, so that you can use it for research down the line. Great. Let's move on now to the to the malware creation kit. So I just want to close all these windows down, and then let's get started. Alright, so as I said before, in the theoretical part of this module, there's virus malware creation kits out onto the internet, and the place to go find them, well, you can Google and go find them all over the place, but a really good resource is the site here, VX Heaven. So what you want to do is look at, they've got a library, they've got a collection of malware, they've got malware sources, so it's pretty much a site dedicated to malware analysis and malware creation, and it's literally there for educational purposes only. So please bear in mind that when dealing with IT security and when dealing with malware specifically, that you are being ethical about it. Anyway, let's move on. So what you want to do is you want to go to constructors, and as you can see, they've got many constructors here. They've got over 200 virus construction tools, but there's one tool specifically that I want to use today, and that's one I've been using in the past, and it's called Terabit. So let's just search for Terabit and just wait for the results to come back, and there it is there. So I want to install it. So this is exactly what it looks like over here, and I'll install the file by clicking that. But what you'll note is Chrome refuses to download it because it is a malicious piece of software. So there's no way around it in Chrome, absolutely none whatsoever. So what you probably want to do, if you do want to download it, is use Firefox, because Firefox does give you the option to unblock it at some point. So let's just quickly go back to here, copy that URL, and let's paste it into Firefox, and let's try download that file again, and we'll save it. And as soon as it's downloaded, you can see it's blocked. So what you want to do is go to show all downloads, right click on it and say unblock, and it says contains a virus. So you are dealing with viruses, but as you can see, your browsers are protecting you, which is always a good thing. If I had Windows Defender running, it would have also thrown up an alert. But anyway, let's go unblock anyway, and as you can see, it's now downloaded. Okay, so if we go to our downloads folder, and there's TVM32, I can now extract it and let it run. Okay, so there it is. There's a T-virus maker, and now it wants me to make sure that I want to run this. So as you can see, Smart Screen, which is part of Windows 10, is also protecting me. So I'll just put in my admin password because I really want to open the software. And as you can see, there it is. Okay, so now I can go and create my own software. I can set all the payload and what it needs to do, so I can make it delete all files on the desktop. As you can see, there's multiple things. So I'm just going to leave the standard settings here because I'm literally just using this as a demo. And over here I can put a fake error message, I can bind it to something, but over here I'm just going to create the file itself. So I can give the file a name. So as you can see, it's got a lot of generic Windows or Microsoft operating system names, so I'm just going to leave it at the default one. I'm going to set the file icon as setup, so it looks like a setup. Oh, there we go, Windows malware has found Defender. So as you can see in the background, Windows Defender has gone and is now removing it from my PC. So what I'm going to do is just quickly see what it found. Quarantined. So let's just wait for that to finish. Just want to see if it found any malware specifically. Okay, anyway, let's carry on. So setup, and I'm going to give it install. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run the virus with Windows, and as you can see, it's taken terabit straight off, which is exactly what I expected it to do. So let's go back to Windows Defender again, and even though it's real-time protection is off, it's still protecting me. So if I go to the history here, all detected items, there's the one. So what I'm going to do now is something that you shouldn't do, is enable that one and say allow item. And as you can see, it gives you a very, very big warning that I shouldn't be doing this sort of thing. So I'll just say yes, and hopefully it will now allow me to carry on doing that. But just for safety, let's just go back and make sure that all our anti-malware is off so it doesn't interrupt us again. Great. Let's go back to terabit. As you can see, it's gone. So let's go and extract it again. And let's start again. Okay, once again it wants me to enable it because smart screen is protecting me, and there it is again. Okay, so leave it as. So where were we? Okay, so we left everything it is, and now I'm just going to create virus, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Great. Now my virus file has been created. Okay, and now you literally go put it on a website, or you go and send it via email, whatever it is that you want to do. I just want to close all these windows so that we can run it. Okay, so here is my virus executable. So if I run it, it will want to install, and then a whole bunch of weird stuff is going to start happening. As you can see, my machine now is acting very, very erratically. And when you've identified a machine that's acting erratically, what you want to do is probably use a tool like Process Explorer from sysinternals. And what it does is it looks at all the running processes on your window. So as you can see, what you want to do with Process Explorer is generally viruses are not signed. Okay, so signed means there's a code signing certificate. So somebody has taken responsibility for writing the virus. Sometimes you do find viruses with a code signing certificate, but in this example it doesn't have one. So as you can see here, it's starting and stopping services, and here's our virus, that's AMOU main thing running, and as you can see the setup's running. Green means it's starting, red means it's stopping. Green means, so as you can see, this machine is very, very infected. So if let's just see what would happen if I just disable this. So I kill this process. You can see it's denying me access even though I'm an admin. So this machine's very, very infected. Okay, so what do we do in this case? Well, in this case you would pretty much take this machine off the network and go clean it, either by formatting it or by running anti-malware. So let's go back to Windows Defender, and we are now going to enable real-time protection. And as you can see, immediately it finds the malware and starts cleaning it for me. So there we go. Go back to Process Explorer, and as you can see, my processes are back to normal, and more importantly, my machine's not acting all erratically. So let's just go see, before we end off, what it actually found. So if I go into history and view details, it's still busy coming up to it. So there we go. It's updated now, and pretty much we end it there. So what I want to just end off is, you may have noticed that I downloaded this malware clicked terabit virus maker. But as I said before, be very, very careful, because it actually came with a backdoor Trojan called MirrorDrop. That's why I'm saying be very, very, very careful when working with viruses, and always do it on a virtual machine like this one, or on a machine that's totally isolated from all other machines, because you don't want to infect your network with malware while you are studying it. Great, thank you for watching this video.